your part.
Matters to be raised with the permission of the Chair, Dr. Ami Agnik.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman, sir, for allowing me to raise an important issue related handling of COVID-19 related biomedical waste. Sir, post the COVID-19 outbreak, the disposal of COVID-19 related biomedical waste has become a threat. Recent data released by the Central Pollution Control Board has shown that between June 2020 and December 2020, biomedical waste generated due to COVID-19 alone was 33,000 tons. Sir, cities where COVID-19 cases are higher in numbers, such cities face a problem of used contaminated personal protection equipment like PPE, masks, gloves, shoe covers, which are thrown in the open or dumped with household waste. The direct impact of this related biomedical waste has on the air, water, soil, and animals cannot be overlooked. Sir, this is posing an immense risk to the ecosystem. Though hospitals and COVID-19 care centers do follow the protocol of waste management and waste segregation, the unscientific disposal of COVID-19 biomedical waste by corporations and private contractors is worrisome. Sir, sanitation workers are seldom provided with sufficient PPE kits or soap and water, and apart from this, they are also being underpaid by the municipal corporations. Sir, the safety guidelines are hardly followed. Informal participants in the disposal chain, such as rag pickers and waste collectors, are exposed to such biomedical waste and are hardly prevented from collecting it. Sir, there is no mechanism to track the vehicles that carry this biomedical waste, and there is no way to check the waste stored before it is incinerated. Failing to tackle this biomedical waste is likely to increase environmental and public health risk. Sir, through you, I request the government to take immediate steps to implement proper techniques for COVID-related biomedical waste management and bring in systemic participation of the recycling industry so that relevant authorities can improve the operational practices of the entire biomedical waste management landscape. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Amma. Very good point made. So, Dr. Harshvardhan ji, government can think about issuing an advisory on this, about disposal of the biomedical waste. You need not say anything now, but just take note of it. Sri Majibullah Khan.
धन्यवाद अध्यक्ष महोदय कि आज आप माइनॉरिटीज़ के प्रॉब्लम उठाने के लिए मुझे इस सदन में मौका दिया। माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं आपके माध्यम से PM 15 पॉइंट प्रोग्राम के बारे में बोलना चाहता हूं। PM 15 पॉइंट प्रोग्राम में टोटल 18 पॉइंट है माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, लेकिन ये 18 पॉइंट अगर ठीक से कार्यकारी होता, अगर ठीक से काम होता तो माइनॉरिटीज़ जो गरीबी रेखा के नीचे है उन लोग ऊपर उठ सकते। उसमें देखिए एक पॉइंट है अध्यक्ष महोदय कि जो भी इंदिरा आवास जाता है राज्य सरकारों के पास, उसमें से 15% माइनॉरिटीज़ को देने के लिए बोला गया है, लेकिन बहुत से जगह में ये चीज़ नहीं हो रहा है, बहुत से राज्यों में ये चीज़ नहीं हो रहा है। इसीलिए आपके माध्यम से मैं अनुरोध करना चाहता हूं केंद्र सरकार को कि सिर्फ 3 पॉइंट पे अगर हम लोग गौर करेंगे तो बहुत कुछ हो सकता है माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय। पहला पॉइंट, 2011 के सेंसस के मुताबिक हमारे भारतवर्ष में करीब करीब 20% माइनॉरिटीज़ है। उस हिसाब से जो राज्य में जितने माइनॉरिटीज़ हैं वो राज्य सरकार को आप दिशा निर्देश कीजिए, उस हिसाब से उन लोग अपना बजट तैयार करें। पॉइंट नंबर 2, बहुत से राज्यों में माइनॉरिटी कमीशन नहीं है अध्यक्ष महोदय, वहाँ माइनॉरिटी कमीशन साथ साथ वहाँ इम्प्लीमेंट हो सके, जैसा इम्प्लीमेंट हो सके। तीसरी बात, उस राज्य के मुख्य सचिव को बताया जाए, यहाँ से निर्देश दिया जाए, दिशा निर्देश दिया जाए कि वो हर 3 महीने में ये PM प्रोग्राम जो है 15 पॉइंट प्रोग्राम, इसका रिव्यू करें ताकि डेवलपमेंट अच्छा से हो सके, काम ठीक से हो सके। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद अध्यक्ष महोदय।
अच्छा है, धन्यवाद। श्री श्वेत मलिक, एसोसिएट, लिखकर भेज।
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं आज आपका ध्यान एक बड़ी विशेष मांग जो 2 विश्व प्रसिद्ध धार्मिक नगरियां हैं, श्री अयोध्या जी और श्री अमृतसर साहब, उसके बीच में एक ट्रेन लिंक शुरू करने के लिए मांग कर रहा हूं सर। सर, श्री अयोध्या जी जो श्री रामलला की जन्मभूमि है, 500 साल से भारतवासियों की, चाहे किसी धर्म के हो, किसी संप्रदाय के हो, किसी जाति के हो, ये मांग रही थी कि वो जो श्री रामलला जी का मंदिर था, जिसको बाबर नामी एक आतंकी ने ध्वस्त कर दिया था, उस मंदिर को दोबारा वहां बनाया जाए। इसके लिए लंबी प्रक्रिया चली और मैं आभारी हूं, मैं उच्चतम न्यायालय का मैं आभारी हूं, हमारे प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का, कि जिनके प्रयासों से आज श्री अयोध्या जी में एक भव्य रामलला के मंदिर का निर्माण चल रहा है। इसके आप स्नेह के बारे में ये देखिए कि भारतवासी कितने इसके बारे में प्रसन्न हैं, कितने इसके बारे में आज भारतवासियों में जो श्रद्धा है कि उस मंदिर के निर्माण के लिए सभी भारत के निवासियों ने धर्म, जाति, संप्रदाय से ऊपर उठ के सैकड़ों करोड़ों रुपए का अनुदान किया है, जिससे वहां अयोध्या जी में एक भव्य मंदिर का निर्माण हो रहा है और विश्व से लोग जो है वो अपनी आस्था को पूर्ण कर सकेंगे। दूसरा सर, वो नगरी है जहां से मैं आता हूं, श्री अमृतसर साहब, ये गुरु नगरी है। ये गुरु रामदास जी ने नगरी बसाई थी और यहाँ प्रसिद्ध, विश्व प्रसिद्ध श्री हरमंदिर साहब है, श्री दुर्गाना मंदिर है, शहीदों की महान स्थली श्री जलियांवाला बाग है, लव कुश की धरती, जहां लव कुश ने भगवान वाल्मीकि जी से परीक्षण प्राप्त किया, उनका बचपन बीता, श्री वाल्मीकि तीर्थ है, और कई अन्य तरह के विश्व प्रसिद्ध, जहां गोविंदगढ़ फोर्ट है, जहां पार्टीशन म्यूजियम है। तो यहां भी लगभग 3 लाख लोग रोज श्रद्धा के साथ दर्शन करने आते हैं। सो मैं ये मांग करूंगा कि ये 2 विशेष धार्मिक शहरों के बीच जब ट्रेन चलेगी तो इनके बीच में आने वाले जितने स्टेशन होंगे, जितने भारत निवासी होंगे, उनको ये एक सौभाग्य प्राप्त मिलेगा कि यहाँ दोनों धार्मिक स्थलियों के दर्शन कर सके। धन्यवाद।
Sri K. Vanadavena, please.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairman. Yeah, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks on behalf of the people of Mizoram regarding the preparation for the establishment of Indo-Bangladesh Border Trade Center at Labung within the state of Mizoram. Honorable Chairman, I would like to mention that during the British administration, whenever we go to Calcutta from Mizoram, we used to go via Chittagong through this Kotang Tuipui River, which is navigable for small boat throughout the year. However, since 1947, after India independence, till today, this road, this waterway have been blocked. However, the Union government is preparing to open trade center here. It is a very, very important thing for our people. And not only for our people, it will be very helpful for other states in the Northeast. So I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to Modi's government on behalf of my people of Mizoram. And secondly, Honorable Chairman, we have 318 kilometer long border boundary line with Bangladesh. About 60% of this boundary line is a river. Since this boundary line have been blocked to enter Bangladesh, the village, all these border areas became landlocked during these 75 years. So, Honorable Chairman, I kindly request the Union government to establish not only trade center, but also consulate Because whenever we go down to Bangladesh or whenever we go up to Myanmar, we have to go first Calcutta, because there is no consulate office in our state. It is difficult to go to Myanmar and Bangladesh. So I kindly request not only to establish trade center, but also consulate office in our state. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Udalavenam. Dr. L. Hanumantaya.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, as every one of us is aware, Lakshadweep is a small and beautiful union territory. It has the population of around 70,000 only. And the crime rate in that territory is very low as compared to other union territories and even other states. Sir, Lakshadweep has prominence over other union territories and states for its tranquility and peaceful environment, which can also be considered as a prime reason for tourist attraction. The implementation of the Prevention of Anti-Social Activities Act, that is PASA, P-A-S-A, it has been notified on 28/1/2001 and asking for the opinion of the people of Lakshadweep. So, the implementation of the aforesaid PASA Act would amount to violation of principles of natural justice, and also it would amount to the infringement of the fundamental rights guaranteed under Part 3 of the Constitution of India. Sir, the peaceful society living in harmony with nature would be threatened and driven to become insecure and unsafe in their own society, which all these years they were enjoying. As the existing laws are more than sufficient to deal with the crimes which are happening in Lakshadweep, and not very serious crimes have been reported so far. So the proposed PASA Act, Prevention of Anti-Social Activities Act, is unwarranted in a peaceful and law-binding territory like Lakshadweep. Sir, the apprehension of the people representatives of that area and some of the officials of that area also feel this act in this small territory is unwarranted. Therefore, the apprehension with the people of Lakshadweep is in the implementation of PASA in abeyance is the request. So the people to live fearless, peaceful living in that small place of nature, I request the Government of India to keep that in abeyance and allow the people of Lakshadweep to be peaceful. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Associate, please. Ikkar Bejana. Dr. M. Thambidore.
Honorable Chairman, thank you very much for giving the opportunity to raise a very important issue. We urge the Government of India to instruct our Indian delegates to vote in favor of resolution of United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva asking for an inquiry in that criminal committed against minority Sri Lankan Tamils in Sri Lanka in the past and in the present. Unless we vote against the crimes against these innocent Sri Lankan Tamil people, we cannot ensure their fundamental rights now and also in the future. ADMK always stand by the people of any race and in any country who fight for the justice and equality. It is not only for Tamils, we are voicing our support. It is more than a race issue. It is an issue of justice and peace. When we support human rights of people in other countries like Palestine, we have the duty to support the cause of Tamil population of Sri Lanka also. It is our moral duty and responsibility towards establish permanent solution for peace, because a war-like situation in any place of the world threatens the peace of the whole world. I would like to quote John Kennedy, former president of USA, who said in 1963 that pockets of poverty anywhere threatens prosperity everywhere. Similarly, packets of injustice anywhere threatens peace everywhere. Beautifully, Per Anna said in Tamil, Salai Vorathil Valayatrudugal. Valayatrudugal Nenjil Ibarida Innangal. That is, unless people have a peaceful situation to live, unrest will keep growing in their thoughts and actions. How do we establish peace? Only through justice we can establish peace. That is why we insist that India should vote in favor of the resolution in Geneva Council, through which we can give a sense of justice to the war-affected Sri Lankan Tamil people. Hence, I urge the government of India to be with the side of the people, Sri Lankan Tamil people who long for justice. I also said one thought. Honorable Prime Minister, when visited Tamil Nadu, he assured that he is going to take the cause of the Sri Lankan people and protect the interests of Sri Lankan Tamil people. Therefore, I request the government, whatever our Prime Minister committed, that can be followed by the delegation who are staying in Geneva supporting the Sri Lankan Tamil cause.
Thank you, Tambedhari. Srimati Jaya Bachchan.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, please. Please send a slip.
Thank you, sir. I'm talking about the plight of manual scavengers again. I think a lot of my colleagues and me have brought this subject up many times, but there has not been much improvement. Slightly, but not enough. Last reported were 50 deaths. This is official. Non-officially, lot more. Sir, it is a pity that today we are still talking about death and manual scavengers. I cannot understand, sir, why we have not yet been able to provide them protective gears and why we have not done away with manual scavengers. We are talking of progress, we are talking about going to the moon and Mars and everywhere, and we cannot provide. It's an embarrassment for the country and for all of us sitting here. I remember that Professor Manoj Jha had brought this up on a private member's bill. There has been no response. We need a response. Railway Mantri is sitting here. Sir, a lot of manual scavengers are used by the railways as well. Please take note that given proper gear, protective gear, sir, a lot of them, the children of these scavengers are refusing to do the same work. But how do you rehabilitate them? There are no jobs for them. Society discriminates against them. All these things need to be addressed. We do talk about minorities, we talk about SC, ST, we talk about reservations. What about these people, sir? This country has been independent for so long. I think these people need dignity, these people need rehabilitation, and all people who do not, especially the contractors who do not provide them proper gear, need to be punished. And I think some kind of response should come from the government to the people, to this house, and also it will go across the world, because you do Swachh Bharat. This is a part of Swachh Bharat. Don't give slogans.
Right.
Do the work. Thank you.
Thank you, Jayaji. Associate, please send your names. Dr. Amar Patnaik. Dr. Amar Patnaik is there?
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Chairman, sir, I want to raise the issue of women farmers who continue to be invisible, neglected, discriminated, and engaged in difficult working conditions in agriculture. The same narrative, sir, has been followed in the current farm protest as well, where there is a stereotypical paternalistic male-dominated leadership in these protests. So recently, women farmers came together demanding that the government recognize them and uphold their rights. I support, sir, their demands. So they have to be addressed both at the policy level as well as the implementation level. So currently we have about 15 crore women farmers engaged in agricultural activities, right from planting seeds, transplantation activities, storage activities, post-storage, post-harvest activities, and also harvest activities. Many of them are widow farmers whose husbands had committed suicide, and therefore they have taken to farming. So it is therefore very essential that the women farmers have to be recognized, and the first step is to recognize them officially. The definition of farmers have to include things as women farmers, tenant farmers, those who rear livestock, fisherwomen, and women dependent on forest. Sir, the Oxfam report says that agriculture sector employs 80% of all economically active women, but only 13% have land rights. The entire data set of census operations identifies farmers as per their land holdings. And that is the crux of the problem, sir. And therefore, sir, I demand that we must operationalize a definition of farmer that includes all these activities. There is a joint registration of land, a registry of women farmers, equal access to credit, better access to technologies, and quality seeds, sir. So unless we assure them space in the policy level and also give support services just as we give to our male farmers, we cannot actually have a sustainable agricultural practice in this country. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Kumar Patnaik ji, associate, please send your names. Sri KTS Tulasi.
Thank you, sir. So I wish to draw the attention of this august House to the problem which is being created with regard to the Masters of Science teachers in medical colleges. Non-medical teachers, all of a sudden, after having served medical colleges for decades, are suddenly being removed without there being a policy with regard to the reasons why, and that also in the middle of pandemic, when we need all hands on the deck. To remove them from the medical colleges seem to be imprudent. I would like to submit, sir, that non-medical teachers have been reduced by 50% already, 30% in biochemistry, in anatomy and physiology to 15%. From 50 to 15, they have been completely excluded from pharmacology and microbiology faculty. This is a serious issue not only in respect of teachers but also for imparting education to medical students when even student services may be required if the pandemic continues to reoccur as is apprehended now. The scientists are routinely appointed all over the world for anatomy, biochemistry, physiology, pharmacology, microbiology. I do not know what has gone wrong that we thought of, without formulating a policy, removing them to the extent of almost 50%. I hope the government will take serious note of this and come out with a policy. Thank you.
Thank you, Tulasi ji. Sri Prasanna Acharya.
Thank you, sir. Sir, today under your leadership, we pay tribute to the great martyr of this country who sacrificed their life 90 years before. And sir, today is the day, 100 years before, Mahatma Gandhi first visited to Odisha. And in Odisha, he could visualize the poverty of the whole of the country. And Odisha is celebrating in a wide scale the centenary year of Mahatma Gandhi's visit to Odisha. And sir, after 8 years, Mahatma Gandhi again visited Odisha and that to Sambalpur. And sir, the Sambalpur railway station, which is a divisional headquarters of the railways, is a century-old railway station and which bears the memory of Gandhiji's visit to Sambalpur. Gandhiji alighted in that railway station, had a Greek public meeting in the sands of river Mahanadi, which started the movement, independent movement there, sir. But unfortunately, sir, when the whole of Odisha is celebrating Gandhiji's visit to Odisha centenary year, the railway has taken an unfortunate decision to close down permanently that railway station of Sambalpur, which bears the memory of Gandhiji's visit to Sambalpur. Therefore, sir, it has sent a tremor all over in the region in Sambalpur area, and there is a widespread agitation going on there. Sir, Sambalpur was having the Railway Survey Division Office since 1880, which conducted survey while laying of railway network to Raigad Jharsuguda section of Bombay-Kolkata line, which was opened in 1890, and Jharsuguda Chakradharpur section came up in March 1981. And Sambalpur was an important center of administration since the British time, and it was a seat of the British political agent from where the affairs of so many princely states were conducted. Passenger trains started running via Sambalpur road station in 1893. And sir, the station came up in full-fledged in 1895 and continuing since then. Sir, it is giving goods revenue to the railway. And it is coming under the East Coast Railway Zone, and Sambalpur is the divisional headquarters, sir. So therefore, sir, I would request the Honorable Railway Minister, he is very much present here, kindly reconsider the decision and allow the Sambalpur railway station to continue further. Sir, in 2007, the railway has again taken a decision to close down the station, and there was widespread agitation, and a tripartite meeting was held between the district administration, the railways, and the public representatives, and it was decided that the railway station will continue, it will not be closed down forever. Therefore, sir, I again appeal the Honorable Minister to kindly intervene and see that the railway station continues in the future also. Thank you,
Professor Ajay. The Minister is here, he will take note of it. Sri Subhash Chandra Singh.
Chairman, sir.
Odia.
Odia, sir. Sir, Odia, sir. Sir, 11 century ସମୟର କଥା ଅନନ୍ତ ବର୍ମନ ଚୂଡ଼ଗଙ୍ଗ ଦେବ ଫ୍ରମ୍ ଆନ୍ଧ୍ରପ୍ରଦେଶରୁ ମୁଖଲିଙ୍ଗମରୁ ବାରବାଟୀ କଟକ ଦୁର୍ଗ ତିଆରି ହୋଇଥିଲା 11 ସେଞ୍ଚୁରୀ ସମୟର କଥା ଦୁଇଟି ମହାନଦୀ କାଠଯୋଡ଼ି ସଙ୍ଗମ ସ୍ଥଳରେ ବାରବାଟୀ ଦୁର୍ଗ ତିଆରି ହେଲା ପରବର୍ତ୍ତୀ ଅବସ୍ଥା 9 ତାଲା ବିଶିଷ୍ଟ କୋଠାରେ ଏବଂ ସେତେବେଳେ ଥିଲା କଟକ ଥିଲା ଓଡ଼ିଶାର ରାଜନୀତିକ ସାମାଜିକ ସାଂସ୍କୃତିକ ପ୍ରାଣକେନ୍ଦ୍ର ଓଡ଼ିଶାର ଏବଂ ସେତେବେଳେ ତିଆରି ହୋଇଥିଲା 9 ତାଲା କୋଠା ଏ ଗୋଟେ ଓଡ଼ିଶାର ହେରିଟେଜ୍ ଗର୍ବ ଗୌରବର କଥା ଥିଲା ବାରବାଟୀ ଦୁର୍ଗ ଆଜି ଦିନରେ 1000 ବର୍ଷର ଗୌରବ ବହନ କରି ଏ ଦୁର୍ଗ ଚାଲିଛି ସାର୍ ସାର୍ ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଜରିଆରେ ଚେୟାରମ୍ୟାନ୍ ସାର୍ଙ୍କ ଜରିଆରେ ମୁଁ ଖାଲି କହିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛି କଟକ ଏଇ ସ୍ମାରକୀ ସମ୍ପର୍କରେ 2008 ଆଉ 9 ମସିହାରେ केंद्र सरकार 17 कोटी 25 लाख टंकार एक व्यय अनुमोदन करी सर जोटा कि आज दिन में कह जाउची अर्बन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट स्कीम फॉर स्मॉल एंड मीडियम टाउन प्रोग्राम इन कटक ओडिशा बारबाटी दुर्ग को सही प्रोजेक्ट रे निया गला आर रिनोवेशन आर मॉडर्नाइजेशन करिया पई ए स्मारक भी रखिया पई ए दुर्गर गौरव होची 17 कोटी टंका विनिमय रे एएसआई आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया एवं सीएमसी कटक म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन सहयोग एटा कटक म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन ता काम जेतिक देथिले सारले आउ 12 कोटी टंका थुआ है सर 14 वर्ष हो गला एएसआई ना परमिशन दौची स्ट्रिक्टली प्रोहिबिटेड जोन होची एआईसी अंडर रे आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया डिपार्टमेंट अंडर रे जाउची कहा को अलाउ करनी राज्य सरकार निवेदन कलनी ओडिशा हाईकोर्ट रिव्यू करी निर्देश देला ता सत्वे भी हो नहीं एवं राज्य सरकार जिला प्रशासन एवं आरडीसी कौन सी अग्रगति हो नहीं यही दुर्ग भितर सर एक स्टाडियम अच्छी आमर इंडोर स्टाडियम ओडिशार गर्व गौरव स्पोर्ट्स कैपिटल ऑफ द स्टेट ऑफ ओडिशा से सारा राज्य इंटर स्टेट पड़ोसी राज्यर पिला माने प्रैक्टिस करी खेल खेलती आमे भी सार 30 वर्ष धरी सेठी मॉर्निंग वॉक करू सेठी ना सार भित्तिभूमि अच्छी ना कौन सी मेंटेनेंस होची तार कौन सी चलिया पे रास्ता नहीं लाटिन भी गोटे व्यवस्था नहीं एते कदर्य अवस्था अच्छी आमे डिमांड कर आपन जरिया रे चेयरमैन सार निवेदन जरिया रे करिया को चाहूछु आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया को निर्देश दिया जाऊ ये काम केबे केबे तारीख रे पूर्णांग हेबो एवं जो स्पोर्ट्स जगह अच्छी जो भारत वर्ष विभिन्न राज्य पिला प्रैक्टिस करती आम मैंने मॉर्निंग वॉक करूँ दीर्घ 30 वर्ष धरी वॉकिंग ट्रैक नहीं से मेंटेनेंस दायित्व राज्य स्पोर्ट्स डिपार्टमेंट नौ न ओलंपिक एसोसिएशन नौ किंतु ए प्रोजेक्ट वर्क केबे कंप्लीट हेबो आपनक जरिया निर्देशनामा आसु कटक ओडिशार गर्व और गौरव बारबाटी दुर्ग ए 1803 मसीह ब्रिटिश सभा शेष में प्रवेश कला कटक
धन्यवाद
ये हूँ गौरवर
श्री
कथा
ब्रिजराज
Sir.
time you have to keep